I'm Bob Vila. Welcome to this old house. Lots to talk about today. We're going to be installing a precast concrete cellar entryway with its own steel bulkhead door. That should be a lot of fun. We'll also be getting together with our homeowners who've been quite busy around here. They've been digging holes, and today we're also doing some demolition. So we'll be visiting with them. And Rich Trethui, our heating and plumbing expert, is coming on the show to give us some advice about existing conditions and some of the proposed changes around here. So don't go away.
This old house is made possible by Weyerhaeuser, providers of building materials, services, and other products that help Americans live better at the same address. Weyerhaeuser.
You know, here in New England, we've got an old expression that says, wear it out, use it up, make do. This might look like scrap, but actually it's next year's firewood. It's going to keep these folks warm. And up until a couple of days ago, it was actually part of the partition system in there. We got together, Norm Abram, Jim Senek, the homeowner, and myself, and we tore it down. Take a look. Okay, and into our little front hall and our little front parlor where our friends are busy at work. Hello, Jim Senek. Hey, how are you? How's it going over here?
Fine, thanks.
Hey, Norm.
Hi, Bob.
You guys are busy.
Yeah, hard at work. We're demolishing this plaster.
It looks like you know what you're doing. Have you done this before?
Yes, we have. Between my wife and myself, we've redecorated maybe a dozen apartments in the past.
Redecorated or destroyed?
Well, a combination of both.
Yeah.
First you destroy, then you do the other.
And then you do it over.
But this looks very much like some of the apartments that we've done.
Right. And you did think about what you were doing here. You had two little rooms and you want a big room.
That's right. You see, with the new addition, we're going to have a dedicated dining room, which means that that room, that half, will not need to be used as a dining room anymore, and we can make one large living room out of it.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful. Well, I'm going to give you a hand in a minute, but Norm, you know, a lot of people would be a little concerned about the problems of having the second floor come down over your head when you're removing a wall like this.
That's right. Well, the first thing that I did is went down in the basement to see where the bearing points might have been, and I found that the floor joists on the first floor are running this way.
Parallel to the wall that we're removing.
Right, because it's resting on the foundation and then on a beam that's beneath this wall. So in almost all applications, you would then assume that this is a bearing wall, and that the second floor joists run from this way, from the outside wall to the bearing wall.
Okay.
So we'll go at it that way, assuming this is a non-bearing wall.
It's a safe
because
bet.
it's parallel to the floor joist. Then after all the plaster is removed, we'll take another final look before we actually knock the studs out.
Okay, so we will assure ourselves before we take any of the studs out.
Yeah, but what if we're wrong? What if it turns out that we remove the plaster and see that this indeed is a load-bearing wall? What then?
Well, we run out the front door.
Well, the first thing we want to do, we do want to remove the wall, so we'll build a temporary wall with A-frames just to support the second floor. Have an engineer design a beam that'll take the place of the wall, and you can still have this nice open room.
Good. Well, let's get to work.
Okay.
I'll work on this side.
More goodies, Bob.
What'd you find?
I don't know. Let's see what we got. Oh, postcard.
East Lexington Men's Club. The next regular meeting of our club will be held at Fallen Church on January 31st, 1916. Yes. Spooner. Grapefruit is a tonic, a mild liver and kidney stimulant. Ask your doctor. Go ahead. Go for it, Norm. Well, hidden behind this wall over here, there's some definite wiring. Norm, do we have any voltage testers for Jim?
Yes, there's one in my toolbox over there.
I think we might as well check it out before we go any further, because there must have been a wall bracket here.
I'll hold that for you.
The light going on now?
No, it's dead.
Dead. Okay.
Dead.
All right, we can proceed. What's it look like over here?
Well, I got the lath up high enough now that I can see. Now this 2x4 is actually the wall, but beyond it you can see the joists are running parallel to the wall, so it's a non-bearing wall. We don't have anything to worry about.
So let's take it out. Well, Norm, it's not a traditional Western frame here. It's framed right through, isn't it?
No, it's right on. You can see it's toenailed.
Can you see it?
Yeah, the studs are toenailed right to the floorboards.
Oh, all right. So how come that persuader didn't...
Well, I think it's just nailed together well.
Well, Jim, what are you going to do with all this debris?
Well, it's going in the dumpster, but you know, I'm paying by the pound to have it hauled away, so I'm going to keep much of the wood and use it as kindling.
Sure. But you got to be careful, because some of this really dry tinder stuff will spark all over the place.
Yes.
But you're right about the cost of the dumpster and getting the debris out of here. It's awfully expensive, so you want to be careful that you only put stuff in there that you absolutely can't get rid of otherwise.
Absolutely.
But you can burn the wood. Well, I'm beginning to like this room already.
Put it wet.
All right. That's it for that wall.
A little bit of cleanup.
Yeah, that's the worst part. But there's some other walls that still have to come down. Let's get them all down, and then we'll clean up. What's the next one?
Well, this one right here, this little angled wall has to be removed.
Good. And what about the kitchen?
There's a lot of demo to do in the kitchen, too.
All right. Okay. Half a load. It's pretty light, huh? I'd rather do twice the number of trips with half the weight.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay. See, you guys have done a real nice job of cutting up and stacking up all this debris, which is going to be lovely firewood for you.
Absolutely. And
oh, you got quite a bit of stuff in here already.
yes.
I'm glad to see you're being careful about how you load it.
Yeah, we're loading it evenly.
Yeah. Is this the first one or is the second one?
Oh, no, we've never had this emptied at all.
Okay, so this is still the first load.
We're trying to be very careful with how much we dump.
Good. All right, let's get some more.
Right.
Boy, what a difference it makes taking that wall out. This is really going to be a great living room.
So it does.
It's about 20 by 12, right?
Yeah.
Not bad. Take a look in here. We've had our stud lumber, our oriented strand board, which is used for decking and sheathing. It's all been delivered, and next week we're going to be framing. But right now, let's get together with Mary Van Sennick, our homeowner, who's been very busy around here and still is very busy. Hi, Mary Van.
Hi, Bob.
What you up to?
Well, I'm filling in the hole where we excavated last week.
Yes.
To get ready for the bulkhead.
You did a great job. I know it was 100-degree weather around here when you were digging this hole. And listen, you're saving yourself hundreds of dollars by doing the backfilling yourself and not having to bring anybody else in. Speaking of dollars, how's the budget doing?
Well, we about $21,000 for the foundation that you see right here.
$21,000. Does that include all the excavating and the hauling?
It does. And we had a lot of fill brought in.
And the formwork and the concrete, which I imagine was a big number.
And we only have the floor left.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah. How do you like your new precast cellar entryway with a steel bulkhead door?
I think it's super, and it's going to be very convenient for hauling things up and down the cellar.
Well, I was impressed with how easily it's installed. Earlier, I got together with Mike Toohey, who's an expert on this kind of system, and he explained everything there is to know about it to us. Take a look. Yeah, I tell you, the cellar entrance into this place wasn't very sophisticated. We had a set of steps like this. You know, this is about a 90-year-old house, and then over here, this was the actual cellar door.
Yeah.
Behind this newer storm door, we had a little wooden door like that.
That's really
So you had to kind of crawl through, and if you were trying to bring a box of apples or something like that, you would have been in trouble. If you had to replace a furnace, you'd be in big trouble.
The unit we're going to put in today, that won't be a problem.
Great.
It's going to give you good direct access to the
our
basement.
homeowners have been so busy around here. They've done so much of the demolition work themselves. This weekend, they asked me, what should we do? The temperature was up to about 100 degrees, and I said, you know, you might consider hand digging a pit over here for your new cellar entrance, because if you have to call a backhoe in to do the job, it might cost you a couple of $100. So I think they've done a great job.
Yeah, they did a really good job. There's a lot of stones here, but they did a good job clearing everything out.
Does the size look big enough to
Yeah, you need an area about 6 by 7, and this should be adequate.
Okay. They found 2 boulders in here, and needless to say, they left them right there.
Yeah, those are big boulders, but that shouldn't be a problem because the back of our casting has a slope to it, so this will be out of the way.
Okay. Now, as I understand it, with a precast system like this of cellar stairs and bulkhead entry, what would you do is you kind of just get one off the shelf at the plant?
Yeah, basically there's 5 different sizes, and your size is dictated by your grade condition, and our dealer came out, measured for the appropriate size, and they'll be bringing it out on their boom truck.
So it's almost like having an appliance delivered. It comes out here, and they just boom it off the truck. But are we going to be enough to get it in place? I mean, isn't it awfully heavy?
It's going to be on the boom truck, and the crane will be positioning it into place.
What's it weigh?
Weighs about 4,000 pounds.
Oh, I'll have to see that. Now, when are they supposed to be arriving?
They should be here any time.
Now, come on, I'll get you a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Well, that's a pretty heavy-duty truck with that boom on it. How close is he going to get?
Right about there.
Good, good. Boy, good job.
Bob, this is Rich Walsh.
Hi, Rich.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Mike.
Quite a load you got on. This is not for this job.
No, it's
fancy entrance with wrought iron railings on it. What is that?
That's a set of front porch type steps that'll be going on to another house somewhere in the area.
Okay, so he's got 2 jobs on his truck this morning, and this is ours.
That's correct.
Okay, now this weighs 4,000 pounds.
Yeah, approximately.
Is there any rebar inside?
Yeah, there's some reinforcing in it.
Yeah, beautiful.
A nice finish on it.
Okay, now what's Rich doing over there?
What he's going to do is this is going to be bolted onto the foundation, and he's going to measure the hole locations for the bolts and drill the holes.
So he wants to make sure that it is going to fit before he gets it off that truck. How's it look? What's this thing? This is what you're talking about for bolting it through?
Yep. What this is he's got this part of the anchor right here is precast into the stairwell, and he's going to drill holes in the foundation, and this part of the rod is going to come through the foundation and tie into this anchor here.
That's what you call a hammer drill, right?
That's right, Bob.
Takes the place of an old star chisel and a striking hammer. And not only is the drill bit turning around, but it's also reciprocating. It's going back and forth and pounding. Great tool. Can I use it on this side?
Be my guest. Beautiful.
So he normally does this whole installation just by himself.
He's got a remote control, so he can do it all by himself.
Really? Is he going to lift it from here and put it over in the hole?
Yep. What he's going to do is he's going to lift it up and position it. Then we're going to stick the sealant on it that goes between the casting and the foundation to create a waterproof seal.
So this is a sticky seal. What's it made out of, the sealant?
It's a butyl resin. What he's going to do is he's going to run it around the face of the casting, and what it's going to do is when it gets compressed, when the casting gets drawn up to the foundation, you get a waterproof seal. This is similar to what they use to seal septic tanks and burial vaults with.
Yeah, okay. But if you tried to do that after the fact with a caulking gun, you wouldn't get it.
Oh, no, you're not. It's 2 different materials.
Yeah. It's amazing. He can deliver and install and doesn't even need a helper. Huh?
No, not with the remote. Do everything himself.
I guess you know how to drive this thing, huh, Rich?
Yeah, Bob, I get plenty of practice.
It's like threading a needle, except you got 4 needles. Huh? So he's just chucking it under the bottom step there.
Yep, and what it's going to do is we're going to get a seal between the casting and the footing underneath the casting now.
Okay. Boy, it's such a simple system, but so efficient.
Yep, very efficient. You now want to tighten it.
Okay, so now Rich has gone into the mason trades here, right? He's mixed up some mortar.
Yeah, what he's doing is he's applying a waterproof mortar between the seam created by the casting and the foundation, and it's primarily for aesthetics, just so there's not a small gap.
So that you don't see the black butyl caulking.
Exactly.
Good.
Exactly.
You know, this is a great system, but of course here we've got ideal conditions. Brand new concrete foundation and the hole's been dug for you. What about our viewers who might have an old rubble foundation, rubble stone or field stone, or maybe even concrete block? Can they use the same system?
Yeah, certainly. You know, it's going to vary a little bit depending on the job site conditions on a block.
But how do you tie into something like this?
On a system like this, it'd be a little bit more difficult, but what you do is you position the casting up as close as you could to the rocks, and what we would recommend you do is, you know, you pour concrete around the sides of it to seal it off.
Yeah, but I'd be concerned about the bearing. I mean, here we've got the whole weight of the steps bolted through onto the new foundation wall.
Right.
You couldn't do that with an old...
Well, yeah, what you'd have to do is support it from behind with a jack or something like that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what's next over here?
What he's going to do now is he's going to assemble the door frame, and then he's going to position it on the casting.
Now, Mike, how much time do you normally allow for an installation like this?
If you have good site conditions like we had here today, Bob, it takes about an hour and a half.
Piece of cake, huh?
Yep.
Okay, and then this will be the bulkhead door.
That's correct.
Comes knocked down.
Yep.
And it's steel, right?
Yeah, it's heavy gauge steel, has a baked-on primer, and after it's all assembled, it's ready to be painted by the homeowner with a metal enamel to match the trim on their house.
Okay. And it's basically just 4 pieces. 2 doors and 2 sides?
Well, it's really 6 pieces. It's a top, a header, a sill, 2 side pieces, and 2 door leaves.
This is all just so easy, it's unbelievable, you know?
Yes.
Now, what's this operation here, Mike?
We've got a metal-to-metal joint here, Bob, and so to prevent water from coming in, we put a strip sealant in there. It gets compressed when he attaches the header to the side piece.
Sure. So you can't have any wind-driven weather coming through there?
That's correct.
Okay, this is what I want to see, Mike. How are you going to attach the steel to the concrete?
What he's going to do is he's going to drill a pilot hole, and then he's going to use this hammer-driven anchor, and he'll slide that into the pilot hole and hit it with a hammer, and it spreads it at the bottom.
And it expands like a rivet?
Exactly. It'll hold the door down to the casting.
Okay. Terrific. Okay, so silicone all the way around.
Okay, caulks the perimeter.
And you're ready for one of the doors, Rich?
Yes, please, Bob.
Heavy. And what do those black rods do?
These are the torsion bars that make it a little easier to open.
Oh, yeah, I get it. All right, now the other one?
Please.
Okay. That's good.
You can hear the slide lock underneath.
So it's good and sturdy.
Yep.
Can't get in there. Beautiful. Nice job, Richard.
Thank you, Bob.
Single-handed. That's terrific, and I guess now the carpenters can take it over once
Yep.
we've built up the sidewall of the house and latch it on.
Yep.
One final question. What can a homeowner expect to pay for this kind of a system?
Prices will vary, you know, depending on the area, but I'd say a ballpark figure is about $1,000.
About $1,000. That's terrific. It's well worth it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Bob.
Well, they're never going to have to worry about that bulkhead set of stairs rotting out or needing to be replaced. But they do have to worry about some of the other details about this new addition. You know, there's 5.5 bathrooms going in there, so there's a lot of plumbing to talk about, and we have to worry about how to heat the space and cool it, perhaps. And so, a few days ago, we turned to our old friend, expert on heating and plumbing problems, Richard Trethewey, who toured and surveyed the whole house with me and gave us some pointers. Take a look.
All right, so we're in the kitchen here.
That's right.
And then underneath the family room over here.
Mm-hmm. This is a big space.
Yeah, the dining room goes over in that portion.
Yeah.
Full basement with lots of headroom, and then 2 stories above it.
I don't know, Bob. Considering where it is and then the main house over there, we might think about a dedicated boiler or furnace out here, something that just heats this area.
But you know, there's no chimney plan for this new addition.
Yeah, but we could go with a direct vented unit, something that puts all the products of combustion, the exhaust, right outside.
Through the wall.
Yeah, so we don't even need a chimney. Do you have gas in the house?
No, there's no gas in the house. There's gas out on the street, so, you know, you could probably bring it in easily.
Do that or even use oil. You know, we can think about either one.
Well, in the past, oil is what's been used to heat the, you know, the whole 2-family.
Yeah.
And I guess, what size tank is that, Richard?
That's 275. That's pretty much the standard size tank in this country. So there's oil, the fill and vent right here.
Yeah.
Here's your water heater. You got an electric water heater.
It's relatively new.
Yeah. And it's 52 gallons, which is pretty much the basic residential size.
Yeah, but as you know, the plan calls for an end total of about 5 bathrooms and a laundry room, and this probably would be inadequate.
5.5 baths, kitchen, laundry, way too much. This would never be able to do it.
Yeah.
We should think of a standalone hot water system, or tie it in with that new piece of equipment if we choose to do that.
Yeah.
Just something that'll give us enough hot water so everybody can have a shower.
Right, if you're running a little bed and breakfast operation, you need to have lots of hot water.
Yeah.
And then this, of course, is what you, well, what you see is what you get. But Jim, our homeowner, was told that the heating season last year was only about $1,000.
You know, this seems like every project we come across one of these. This is a gravity-fired hot water style of boiler, which means it was designed when all the fuel was coal. There was no circulator pump or anything. When the water was heated up by coal, it just gently rose up through the radiators. And as it cooled, it dropped back to the boiler.
Yeah.
It's a quiet, it's a comfortable system.
I can't believe we'd want to keep this ugly thing. I mean, it's just all tarred up and...
Well, it depends on how far you want to go. I mean, I bet you this is probably pretty dirty inside. You know, it's scaled up and caked up. I mean, why couldn't we clean that and tune up the burner?
Yeah.
And just leave this thing as just its own heating system.
Really?
Yeah, chug along.
Independent of the new addition.
Yeah.
You think that's a good idea?
Well, there's one more reason why I wouldn't want to touch it, and that is the A word, asbestos pipe covering here. If we break into that, I think you're going to have to bring in a professional asbestos company.
Yeah, we learned that last year.
And remove it. So maybe...
If you don't disturb it, you can just leave it alone.
If it's comfortable, trouble-free, and the homeowners are happy with it, let's leave it.
Let's talk a little bit about the actual plumbing in this house. It's all cast iron here.
Yeah.
What are these things?
Well, this looks like the old drain for a washing machine.
Oh, I see.
That is not installed properly to code because we would have to continue a vent up and tie it into the plumbing vent system.
Okay.
The old washing machine connections are here.
Yeah.
This is good cast iron.
The waste pipe itself.
I think with all the new bathroom groups that we have, we just cut out this cast iron, put in the T-fittings we need.
And go out to receive them.
To the new bathroom.
And then keep on going out to the street.
This goes over to the kitchen on the other side, so we might want to see if that's installed properly or whether or not we have to touch that.
Yeah, a 2-family. You've always got 2 of everything, huh?
Yeah.
What about the water service?
Well, you can see, this is the old water service right here. You can see this was the old lead pipe coming in.
Yeah, that's a no-no.
They've abandoned that.
Yeah.
It looks as though the water comes in on the other half of the house and comes through the wall here. This is a pipe that is copper, but it is not big enough to handle 5.5 bathrooms and all that load.
So what do you suggest we do?
Well, you could increase the pipe all the way back to where it comes through the wall on the other side, or maybe if we have the backhoe coming in for a potential gas service, maybe dig a new water line out to the street. It's going to be a condominium.
I like
Why
that
not have
idea.
a separate water meter here on this side with plenty of pipe size to handle it?
Yeah, if we've got a 2-family situation, it would be best to have 2 independent water services. Okay, let's go on up and take a closer look.
Okay.
You know, this staircase actually will be canceled, Richard, in the new plan.
Okay. This is the old kitchen here, okay.
Yeah, and it becomes grandmother's bedroom and bathroom.
Okay, so right over here then would be a wheelchair accessible bath.
Yeah, this is bathroom space over here, the bedroom's over that way. And yeah, it would be important because potentially she might be in a wheelchair or, you know, you would need to have a layout that is suitable for wheelchair.
Well, you leave it good and wide for the wheelchair, and here it looks like we'll have a shower, a lot of grab bars to make it easy to get in.
Yeah.
The lavatory and the toilet want to be wall hung, which is a little more involved for the plumbing end of it because we want to hang those fixtures off the wall and have them so they could support weight.
Yeah, so all this adds to the expense. It's not just a regular bathroom, right?
But it's pretty straightforward here.
Yeah. But I think it's a real important thing to do, because when you have an elderly relative living in the household, you have to look out for those,
perfect on the
those
first floor.
eventualities. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now, in here, Norm and I and Jim were tearing down walls earlier, and one thing we've discovered is that we've got a couple of, I guess these are heat risers, right?
Yeah. With the gravity system, we'd want to keep this piping the same size, and we could just offset the pipes into the wall, insulate them, and then offset back out where we want to go. The important thing is not to choke the pipe down, and don't make it reduce in size.
Don't make it any smaller.
Right.
But listen, talking about smaller, these radiators are such an eyesore in the room now. They're not ugly, but they're so big, and they just stand out and scream at you. What can you do about them? Could we replace them?
We could. You know, through the years, we've saved almost all the old radiators we've taken out. I could maybe trade you.
Do a swap?
Yeah, do one that's lower that fits under the window, maybe here and maybe at the far end.
Would it still provide the same?
Yeah, we'd have enough sections to be able to heat the room.
Well, that would be neat. I think we should, consider that, especially if we could move them down into the corners.
Seems like this part of the house tends to fit radiators to it, as opposed to new modern...
Oh, the feeling of it, 1910, early 1900s. Yeah. Let me show you one problem we've got. With all the bathrooms that are planned for the upstairs so that we can run a little bed and breakfast operation, the architect has designed one that goes in this location overhead. Won't it be a big deal to figure out how to waste it?
No. I mean, I looked at this. This is beautiful for us, because if every retrofit was like this, it would be so easy.
Because you got a closet.
Run the waste and the water right up inside the closet, and the bathroom's right above us.
All right,
Simple.
so you'll put it right down in the closet and into the basement, and you won't worry about it.
Yeah.
Good, that is good news. Well, when are we going to have an estimate of cost?
Well, probably over the next week or so, I'll start putting it together. I think we'll meet with Mary Van and Jim to kind of talk about what fixture selections are and things like that.
Yeah.
Probably in a week or so.
Good.
Maybe in a couple.
All right, thanks a lot, Richard.
Okay.
Well, we're just about out of time for today. Next week, I've been promised a whole crew of framing carpenters, so you should see a lot of progress around here. Till then, I'm Bob Vila for This Old House.
This Old House is made possible by Weyerhaeuser, providers of building materials, services, and other products that help Americans live better at the same address. Weyerhaeuser.